countermeasure work, which could be used against damaged results, was considered. So, excuse me. So, this concludes our brief introduction to UC1 series and Engineer Studio. Again, I am Hinako Kyotani. Nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for listening.
And there we go. Okay. So next, for this last bit, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be talking about, oops, that came up there. I want to be talking about IM and VR, which is our kind of way of how we're saying how we bring it all together. So today we've introduced quite a number of our software family that we have with us today. Sorry, that's in the background loading and it keeps popping up. So we have our kind of platform software, VR Design Studio, UC Winroad. And then we also have our modeling software, which is 3D, and then we also have the UC1 series and Engineer Studio series that Hinako was so kindly introduced to us. But now, how do we bring it all together, and what are we doing with all this software? So we have a pretty map that we have here, and I know it's quite a bit of information here, but as you can see, we have VR Design Studio, UC Winroad here at the middle. And it's connected to every single software that is within the FORUM8 software family here. As you can see on the bottom right here, we have our UC1 series going on in the top right. We have the Engineer Studio. We also, in the very top, we have the FAEM League software. In the bottom, we've got our Shade 3D. And then on the left side, we've got our various plugins that support with third-party software as well. We also fully support Allplan if you are an Allplan user as well. And while it's pretty interesting to see it like this visualized in this kind of map, it's a little difficult to understand. So in the sense of the BIM process that is going on. So you start with your investigation, your surveying, and your design here on the top left. And once you've decided that you need to adjust with construction, or building, then you move into the construction phase. And before your construction, in your pre-construction phase, you go through your design process. And that utilizes, if you want to utilize some of FORUM8 software, you can, or you can utilize your own software, and then you can begin the design process. And then once the design process is completed, then you run through your visualizations, you run through your analysis, you run through your testing, and then you start the actual construction, and then you finish your construction. Now, once the construction is finished, you begin your sustainable management of that construction project. So then you begin the analysis and surveying again, and this whole process then repeats. And this is the kind of idea with BIM that we have going. So with this kind of FORUM8 environment, we offer a lot of different, opportunities to expand on and analyze the different levels of detail. If you're not familiar with the BIM levels of detail, you have LOD 100, which is just the basic model representing the location a target would be in, and then the level LOD 200, which is the general idea of what the structure, kind of a rough sketch of what the target object can be understood. So as you can see here, we have, like in the bottom left, we have just a simple design. And then as your level of details increase, you have more explanations and more analytical opportunities to understand what kind of model you are creating. And with the just aforementioned UC1 design series, we can create models from LOD 200 all the way up until 400 within the series itself. And just to kind of understand how these all work with VR Design Studio, as you're designing your models, maybe within the LOD 200 to 300 range, utilizing UC1 design calculation or implementing your rebar, you have your BIM model created, you can export it as an IFC model, and then that model can then be visualized within UC WinRoad. You can check the placement, you can check the organization, you can check where you want it to be, and then you go back to the drawing design board, or you continue on that design. Then you start getting into more advanced models. Then you have your LOD 400 model. This can also be designed within the UC1 design series. Then you finish up completing your checks within the BIM model design. You export it again as an IFC file, and then import it back into UC WinRoad to run through your final virtual checks and your simulation checks on the software. On your model. And then you can you proceed into the actual building of your model. We have the 3D parametric tool that was mentioned earlier to help ease this process and have smooth the cooperation between the multiple softwares that we have surrounding the BIM models. It's one thing to talk about it and design it through workflows and things like that, but it's a lot easier to explain what we have if we just do a quick kind of visualization through a live demo. So what I'm going to show you here is another 3D terrain that we have imported here. And this is just a loop bridge that we have in Japan. It's a pretty famous loop bridge here. And what we've done is we've taken VR Design Studio's point cloud system and we've laser scanned about 300 million points, individual points of this bridge, and then we're going to run a visualization on it. So give me a second while I load up all the points here. As you can see the exact number of points here, and it's divided into 4 sections. So I'm going to run through, check each box, let the points load, and then we'll get our representation of this highway. This is just one of the ways that we can bring in our local environment, our local project, or surrounding our project into VR Design Studio, so that we can have the best representation of the project itself and the big picture idea of where our project will be taking place. And there we go. Now we've got our loop, and we get a little closer, and then we can see the actual individual points that are all laser scanned in from our laser scanned vehicle that we drove through this loop here. And now that we've got our kind of system here, you can see it even has its colors implemented as well. Within VR Design Studio, you can decide what size dots you want to represent your point cloud. If you want to have larger dots or smaller dots, like if you want to have little small dots you can see through, or if you want to have larger dots that kind of blot more area, you can feel free to customize that to your heart's content. So now that we have our road created here, we can then define the road. And once we have our road defined, we can just simply go for a quick ride on that road. Now that the car is loaded, we'll go ahead and do the autonomous driving, so we can just go for a quick ride through our point cloud set of data. Okay, well, that's a pretty nice visualization, but what does it have to do with BIM? So let me get out of the car here. And now that we've got our bridge here, say we want to build a new, let me go over here. It's a little easier to understand. Say we want to kind of rebuild or repair one of these new bridge pillars here. So what we do is we'll go into either UC1 design series that Hinako mentioned before, or we can go into Shade 3D and we can design our new bridge pillar here. We can run it through various BIM checks, and we can also run it through our 2D drawing plane here. We can print this out. We can present it to our contractors, our subcontractors, our engineering leads, and then run through the various checks. We can even run through the BIM checks within the software itself. And then once we have determined that this is the model that we would want to go with for our visualization and for our new design, we then go back into the software. We export it as a IFC model. And then we go right into our model library here. Go into menu, load. We can, again, VR Design Studio has a wide range of support for various different models, so it doesn't have to be an IFC model just to work with. It can be a 3ds FBX model as well. So you're not limited just by the model type, but for the BIM purposes, we specifically implemented IFC model support. So we import our IFC model. Let me go to where I saved it. Here, seminar. We get our sample. And then we import our bridge pillar here. And now we've got it. We can run a double check. This is the model that we want to import. We can visualize what kind of things we have inside it. And since this is reinforced concrete on the inside, we have our rebar. And we can see every little bar of rebar, every little strand of rebar that we have within the system. What it's hooked to and how it's implemented within the reinforced concrete itself. I kind of like the color of this, so we'll just leave it like this without the concrete model itself. And then what we can do is just import that model. It'll be into our library here. And then we can, once the loading finishes, and now we have it imported here. So now that we've got our model here, we can inspect it, figure out, is that the right size of the model? Do we need to change the scaling or anything like that? All can be done easily within the software itself. Maybe 200 is a little too big. Let's do 150 for that model. And then we can then translate it, move it around, pick where we want to have it, sink it into the ground, make sure it's at the right level, right height there. And then we can go ahead and we can rotate it a little bit. And then we've got our model set into the system itself. And of course, I just chose this location just by, looking at it. Of course, as I mentioned before, you can choose specifically GPS coordinates of the environment that you want to place your model at with ease as well. You can even choose the various height and angles that you would like to rotate it as well. So we make sure that we stick with our accurate environments. And of course, it's not just this environment as well. I mean, if we go back to our Shibuya City demo and we wanted to import a new bridge model or any kind of system, we can do so within our library as well. VR Design Studio has a default library of about 8,000 models already supported and ready to download and ready to go with the software package that you get. And again, like I mentioned, you can just import as you see fit. We also have various vehicles as well. Okay, so let's go back. This running all these points is a little heavy on my computer, so let me go ahead and close this. And we'll go back to our slides real quick. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have our parametric data entry. You can decide the parameters of your design, generate the 3D model based on the designs, then link it with UC1 design products to really get those final details of your project. Import 2D drawings, or you can import from other 3D model software like Allplan as well. Okay, and you can automatically place it within UC Road based on your parameters, or you can place it manually as I have done as well. Okay. And all of the software that we have supports various BIM sim checks within itself. So if you want to run a BIM check while you're working within the UC1 series, you can feel free to do so. If you want to run BIM checks while you're running the visualization in UC1 Road or Virtual Design Studio, you are free to do so. Every step of the way, we ensure that the project you're working on is maintaining that accuracy and maintaining the parameters that you have set as well. Whoops, there we go. Okay. All right, and then also we've been working since the effects of the coronavirus have also affected this as well. We've been really working to improve our cloud-based applications to ensure that our customers are still working together and collaborating on their projects over the internet. And so we have the UC1 Cloud design checks and design process, which can be easily shared with those involved, the stakeholders involved in your project, and how you can check, run the calculations, redo checks, redo projects, and then move on so that you have no downtime based on distance or online limitations. Okay. As I mentioned before, a lot of these checks are according to the Japanese standards, but we are expanding the standards that we have and these checks that we have to include more international standards as well. Let me just skip ahead here just a little bit. Okay, now this is a very interesting aspect of Virtual Design Studio that I want to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new project here. And I'm just going to load the basic default terrain. And what I want to show you is how Virtual Design Studio can easily keep track of your construction project and just how detailed the information that it is tracking is holding. So once this default location loads, I'm going to show you the dirt removal option that we have and how it is calculated in your projects. For example, if you're building a highway through a mountainous environment, you'll need to move a lot of soil. And moving that soil will cause costs for your project, and you would want to know, run a visualization, a simulation on just how much that would cost your project. And so Virtual Design Studio allows you to do so without even having a single cent spent in the real world. So just in case you can understand. So what we're going to do is we have just the basic default green terrain for UC Win Road, just to get a kind of playground of how you can get used to the software. We'll go into the plan view here, and we're going to build a quick road right into the mountain here. And like that. And then we'll go edit the road, and then we can see as it's going into the road, it goes kind of right through this big terrain here, and just how we want it to go. Actually, what we want to do is we want to add a little turning point here, and then we can lower this down. And what we can do is then build a tunnel. So we can have it go up into the mountain, and then we can start a tunnel project there. Okay. And now that we've got our design here, and as you can see, now that we've cut into the mountain here, you can see just how much cutting would need to occur here. But it's one thing to run the visualization on it, but now you need to understand how much of this would actually cost, or how much soil will need to be moved. So we just have this simple soil calculate, run the calculator, select the road that you want to identify, and just run calculate. Give it a few seconds as it runs through its process. And there you have it. We have the quick understanding of how much soil will need to be moved. You have the cutting volume in meters cubed and the banking volume as well. So the banking for the building of the side of the roads in the green here, and the orange is how much will need to be cut. And of course, this is just a very, very simple explanation of the soil calculation for the banking and cutting. If you're more interested, of course, we would be more than happy to show you in a separate presentation as well. Okay, and then while you have that information on how much soil is moved and calculated, you can then export that into the UC1 series. You can then also export it into some of our accounting software. Unfortunately, the accounting software is only to the Japanese standards. Again, I apologize, but we are working to improve our international spread. So if you set the cost of moving 1 cubic meter of soil then that can be easily calculated within our UC1 construction accounting software with just a few clicks. And there's very little input that is required from the user on that. Okay. And again, developing various BIM sim models within our design software. You can run through collision checks, collision avoidance to automatically avoid any issues or problems that could occur. And as we move forward into the BIM environment, we had a bit of a mention of the digital transformation that occurs that is occurring across the globe, and Japan is definitely taking part in the digital transformation era, or DX era as we call it locally here, and improving the BIM sim models that can be implemented in all public works projects by the year 2023. And FORUM8 is looking to be one of the forerunners in that software environment as well. As I mentioned before, we are also working on this infrastructure digital database for all the BIM models that we provide, so that this can be an open source for various construction projects and various BIM projects, so that we can all work together on this integrated database and have a consensus on building projects. And this is the kind of breakdown of the basic DX infrastructure that we have available at the moment, and how we're working towards a more integrated database for the future as well. Okay, and this is just the kind of basic explanation of how we plan the database to work in the future, with various on-site inspections, various visualizations with pictures and scanning, laser scanning and things like that, that can then be exported into the database, that is, uploaded into the database. Then the inspection report is completed, we plan for reinforcement work, and then a design project, and then it starts all over again. Okay. We've got our design festival. I've talked just about enough about the design festival, so we'll skip that for now a little bit here. And for the sake of time, we'll just go right into some of the new features of UC Winroad. The last time that we worked with Fujicon was quite a while ago with UC Winroad, and with its constant updates, I just wanted to explain a little bit of what we've been doing with UC Winroad. We're currently on version 15, but let me go back to version 14 and explain how we've been improving the software itself. So we've implemented various eye tracking plugins, as you saw with the student project implementing the eye tracking for their cloud programming project, so that we can analyze where drivers are looking within the system. We've also implemented object detection plugins for various analysis of understanding and designing deep learning technologies as well. We also have our simulation real-time link option for JavaScript nodes to be real-time running into JavaScript, which can be used for various applications or personal APIs, as well as the replay function for the safe driving simulator as well. 360-degree video has been implemented into our video renderer, and we've also implemented the shader customization as well. This can be used for various uses, again, just like the rendering option as well. And it's very easy to turn on. If we just go back to our Sebuah demo here, we can simply just change the renderer on the fly, go to our renderer settings, and then choose our custom shader here. And then we can change the type that we want. So for example, if we just want to do object type, we can have it separated into road, vehicle, building, pedestrian, things like that. We can have it applied to velocity based on the speeds of vehicles. Well, there's no vehicles, but yeah. And you can see as the vehicles get faster, the renderer changes colors as they get improved there. Okay. So let me go back here. Okay. We've also implemented a UAV plugin to help with the drone scanning of various objects and BIM objects building objects that can be used for BIM projects. For example, if we wanted to take a drone and send it on a course around an object, this will take various pictures and videos, and then that can be exported into various 3D models. We've also improved our Visum linkage plugin to make sure we have real-time linkage with Visum. And we also have a 4D simulation function. And this is what I really want to show you that we've improved. It's really beneficial for BIM projects. What this does is it allows us to run through, where is my 4D simulation scenario? There it is. Okay, so we have our bridge pillar here. We've seen this plenty of times before. We have our bridge pillar. We wanted to break it down into various parts and design our scheduling on how we want the construction to proceed over the next couple of weeks. So we start with the foundation building, and we break down our model into little bits and tasks that we call them tasks. And we have task 1 here being the foundation. Task 2 will be the base of the bridge pillar here. And we set the date and time for when we want this to be completed. We give it a color so it appears, nice and clean on the Gantt chart here at the bottom. We select our base. We choose task number 2, and we schedule it to start on the 2nd week. And then next we'll choose the bridge pillars themselves right here in the middle. We'll add a new task. We'll choose the next week that we want it to have. Oh, sorry, that's the next day. It's a quick construction here, but just for the explanation point, assign it a new color so it's easier to understand what part of the simulation we are in. Assign task 3 and task start on the next day. And of course, within the schedule, you can choose when is the downtime for working time and when is downtime as well. But just for simplicity's sake, we'll say we'll be working on it all day. Then we assign the last task, which will be the top of the bridge pillar here, and assign it for the next day after that. Give it a nice color, task 4, and it's task start. And then what we can do is then we can run this simulation over time. We can hit the play button here, and then we can see each day what part of the project we're going to be working on and how we can show this to various stakeholders in the project itself, and even the construction consultants themselves, so we know that everyone's on the same page on where we are. And again, we saw the use of this in the bridge repair project for the Grand Prix Award for Virtual Design contest. And for version 15, our latest version that released this year in February, we've implemented the C++ API functionality for the design and creation of various plugins. So if you were looking to create your own custom plugin for Virtual Design Studio UC Moon Road, you can do so if you know the C++ language as well. And again, the BIM sim data import that we've been talking about with the IFC models can all be run through various checks as well. Okay. Let me just skip ahead here since I've got just a couple minutes left here. And the last thing that I want to talk about here is our cloud technology that we've been improving on. Utilizing Virtual Design Studio as a base, we've been able to run representations of environments in a web-based application. And this is basically how our cloud plugin works off the basis of Virtual Design Studio here on the left, and then exporting and running them into various projects. Now, the first project and the first demo test that we've done is the virtual showroom here. If you visit our homepage, you can go to the English page and you can scroll down to the virtual platform service that we, oh, sorry, this is Japanese. Go to our English page, go down here to the virtual platform system itself. Let me get this out of the way. And then you can check out what we've been doing with the FORUM8 virtual platform system, or VPS. And then you can see the live sample that we have of our showroom. And this is what you'll be greeted with. You can move around with the mouse and the keyboard itself, and you can walk around our Tokyo showroom that we have right now. This is actually where I'm sitting. If you actually go over here to the left, you can see our kind of seminar room here, and this is where I am now. But you won't be able to see me, unfortunately. I'm not in the virtual environment. But this is what we've decided to create because of the limitations of COVID-19. So if you wanted to come visit our showroom, please come visit us virtually. You can also schedule a meeting with us with a few of these buttons. You can interact with some of these objects, or you can read some of the documentation that we have. Unfortunately, I believe most of it is in Japanese, but if you wanted to reach out for any English documentation, please reach out to us as well. And on top of the virtual showroom that we've been developing, we've also been working on various projects regarding the virtual office system to kind of shorten the gap that is caused by COVID-19 and working from home and not being able to directly interact with your coworkers, and just get that face-to-face interaction to make sure that everyone is understanding and communicating properly in the office environment as well. Okay, that is just about it. I don't think I have enough time to discuss the other options here, but that is okay. We've implemented with various third-party programs like Exodus SmartFire for evacuation analysis and Design Builder as well. So, okay, that is right on time here. And what I want to introduce next is, first, I want to say thank you very much for participating and sticking with us for today's presentation. Again, my name is William Nelson. I am the International Team Leader here at FORUM8. I want to again thank Fujicon Indonesia for helping us set up this seminar as well, and my colleague Hinako for also presenting today. What we have for you today, I know we wanted, some participants wanted to receive a participation certificate. So we have our survey here. There should be a survey link in the chat now, sent to everybody. Yes, it is there now. If you click on this survey, we would be really happy to have your feedback on our seminar that we gave today. How was it? Was it too fast? Was it too slow? Or if there's anything that you would like to see as well. You can scan the QR code, run through the survey link, and complete the survey. Once we gather all the surveys, we will then begin sending out the participation certificates probably around next week as well. So again, thank you very much, and I will hand it back to Mrs. TS for the final comments.
Okay, thank you so much. And that was really awesome presentation and demonstration from FORUM8 team. Thank you so much, Mr. William Nelson. So I think we already have some questions here. Sudah di penghujung acara. Terima kasih buat partisipan yang sudah stay tune dari awal sampai dengan akhir. Seperti yang tadi saya sampaikan, bahwa untuk mendapatkan e-sertifikat, partisipan dapat mengakses melalui QR code yang ada di screen teman-teman semua, partisipan semua, atau kindly bisa cek di comment box. Di sini ada link yang sudah dibagikan oleh Miss Hinako Kyotani. Silahkan bisa dicek linknya dan bisa berikan feedback agar teman-teman juga bisa mengusulkan kira-kira tema-tema apa selanjutnya yang ingin didengarkan begitu. Baik, kalau begitu ini temanya seperti style seperti apa nih untuk pertanyaan, karena sepertinya sebelumnya sudah ada beberapa pertanyaan untuk FORUM8. Ya, di sini ada Pak Husni Malik, ada Pak Dedi Limbong, dan juga Kak Niketut Sulyani. Nah, nanti mungkin kita akan membuka 3 or 4 questions. Mungkin tolong ditujukan untuk FORUM8 kah atau untuk Prof. Erwin kah? Nanti bisa raise hand mungkin setelah ini ya. Ada beberapa pertanyaan, tapi saya coba sum up dulu. Untuk pertanyaannya dari Pak Husni Malik dan juga Pak Didi ini terkait software ya, dan Kak Niketut juga tadi masih terkait dengan software. Mungkin Kang Ju atau Pak Kris bisa bantu untuk sampaikan ke FORUM8. Saya akan sampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Tadi dari Pak Husni Malik ada pertanyaan, kira-kira bisa dapat trial version nggak ya, atau education version nggak ya? Kalau misalkan ada, bagaimana cara mendapatkannya, dan adakah harga khusus untuk kampus, untuk universitas? Begitu. Mungkin saya langsung saja ya. Kemudian untuk software yang tadi dijelaskan ini bisa digunakan dari 2 dimensi sampai 7 dimensi kah? Dan apakah disediakan dalam versi bahasa Indonesia? Kemudian tadi ya kayaknya Pak Niketut ada yang ketinggalan. Tadi nama software yang dipakai untuk di jalan sekitar gunung tuh apa nama softwarenya? Dan adakah video tutorial cara penggunaannya? Mungkin sementara itu dulu sambil saya menunggu pertanyaan yang lain. Yang lain mungkin bisa raise hand dulu, nanti saya coba pilihkan ya.
Okay, should I go ahead and answer the questions? Is that okay?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. William Nelson. You can answer.
So just for the questions regarding Forum8, I did see that we had a question. So for the trial and the educational versions of our software, if you would like to receive a trial version, actually, let me just show you real quick. You can reach out directly to us at ist@forum8.co.jp, or you can visit us on our website here, and you can choose which product you would like to see. So if you wanted to try the Virtual Design Studio UC Win Road, you can come to the UC Win Road page, and then you could run through a kind of trial version here. And we have the application for the trial version. Actually, what I can do is just post this link here, and I'll send that to everybody. If you wanted a trial, well, you can run through an application, but what we really recommend is reaching out to us through this contact page. And then what we would recommend is having a one-on-one meeting with us. And then we can discuss various different options, because the software is so wide and it covers so many areas. We want to know what kind of projects you're focusing on, what kind of projects you would like to see. And then we can then customize the demonstration, customize the project, or sorry, customize the kind of what you want, so you can see really only what you want to see, and we don't waste any time with unnecessary plugins or unnecessary objects and things like that. So here I just posted the trial link, the trial application link, if you're interested. Again, you can also reach out to us directly for any questions, or you can reach out to some of our contacts and partner contacts, and we can help. Regarding the next question, I believe it was for the Indonesian language support. Is that correct?
Yes. Mohon maaf, saya akan ulang lagi pertanyaannya. Mungkin saya akan bacakan satu-satu. Tadi betul pertanyaan yang pertama tentang trial version, dan juga tadi pertanyaannya dari Pak Dedi Limbong, apakah software ini bisa digunakan dari 2 dimensi sampai dengan 7 dimensi, dan ada versi bahasa Indonesianya tidak ya?
Okay. Actually, I can't hear the English audio, so it's I think that's just one of the settings. Perhaps we could disable the interpretation setting just for this end of the presentation, so that we can understand what is going on. So I'm actually just, so we can all be talking on the same channel here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Williamson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
The question is the software can be used?
Currently, he cannot hear.
No, I can hear.
Okay, you can. Some parts maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is the software can be used from 2 dimension until 7D, and is it available for Bahasa Indonesia or Indonesian language?
Okay. Unfortunately, we'll have to get the more information about the 7D information, and we would be more than happy to reach out to you with that answer, and we will get back to you later. For the Indonesian language support, unfortunately, we do not have a direct Indonesian language support for our software, but we do have English language support for VR Design Studio, UC Win Road, Shade 3D, and Engineer Studio.
Okay. Is that enough? Okay, itu untuk pertanyaan Pak Dedi tadi ya. Next question is, tadi nama software yang dipakai ketika sedang mendemokan ada jalan di sekitar gunung itu namanya apa ya? Dan ada video tutorialnya kah?
sorry, I don't have the English audio here. So
I will repeat the question. What the name of the software that show in the screen?
He cannot hear.
No, I can hear this one.
Oh, you can hear that.
Yeah, yes, I can. Yeah.
Sorry about this.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. What the name of the software that show
I can hear your
like the
interpretation.
road and the mountain? What's the name of the software, and is FORUM8 can provide the tutorial video?
Doesn't seem to.
Okay. So the name of the software with the mountain terrain, that was VR Design Studio Use Human wrote. That was the same software that we've been using, the foundation software here. And then as far as the video tutorials, yes, we do have a couple of video tutorials available as well. And mostly for our users though. But if you are interested, we can do one-on-one training, or if you are a student and you participate in the CPWC, VDWC Forum Design Festival, then we also offer the training seminars available for students as well. Yes.
Okay, that is enough, right? Maybe last question?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, last question. The advantage of this product over the other products?
Okay, so very good question. And one of the things that a lot of people see. Okay, it is now time. Hello, everyone. My name is William Nelson. I am the International Sales Team Leader here at FORUM8. Thank you for being able to join us today for our Dealer Seminar Online 2021 in Indonesia.
Oke, baik Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, inilah saatnya kita mulai webinar kita untuk hari ini. Saya memperkenalkan diri, nama saya William Nelson. Saya adalah International Sales Team Leader dari FORUM8, dan hari ini kita akan mulai acara FORUM8 Dealer Seminar Online 2021.
We are very grateful for our partners, Fujicon Indonesia, Sipilpedia, Itenas, for being able to come together and put a great seminar together for you guys today. We are very excited to show you what we have today.
Ya, kebahagiaan sekali, kebahagiaan bagi kami bahwa hari ini saya bukan dengan tim FORUM8 saja, tetapi ada bekerja sama dengan Fujicon, bekerja sama juga dengan Sipilpedia, dan bekerja sama juga dengan Itenas dalam menyelenggarakan acara ini.
Today's seminar will be run in 2 languages. We will have English and Indonesia interpretation available. I am going to now turn on the Zoom real-time interpretation function so that you can choose which language you would like to listen to.
Webinar hari ini akan didukung oleh mode interpretasi atau mode penjuru bahasaan 2 bahasa, yaitu bahasa Indonesia dan juga bahasa Inggris. Jadi mulai sekarang saya akan mengaktifkan mode penjuru bahasaan tersebut. Nanti Bapak dan Ibu sekalian bisa memilih untuk masuk ke channel yang diinginkan.
Okay, the interpretation setting is now online. From now on, we will do real-time interpretation. If you would like to listen into your preferred language, please check the screen, the bottom of your screen for the interpretation button, and you can select which language you would like to listen to. Okay, now I will continue on. So for today's agenda, we will start with the opening speech. As I'm giving a quick speech from FORUM8 here today. And then we will move on to our special lecture with Professor Irwin from the Department of Architectural Engineering in the National Institute of Technology. And then after that, we will move into FORUM8's 3 presentations. We have a VR CG seminar presented by myself. Then we have a UC1 FEM seminar presented by my colleague, Hinako. And then we have one more final presentation called the IM and VR CG seminar. Again, this will be hosted by myself. And then at the end, we will have our final remarks and a Q&A session for Forum8. At the end of the special lecture by Professor Irwin, we will also have time for questions. If you have any questions, please use the Zoom raise hand function so that we can get your questions answered. Okay, so just to give you a quick introduction to who we are as Forum8. We just had our 30th anniversary just a couple of years ago, and we are a Japanese-based company located here in Tokyo. I'm actually sitting in our Tokyo office right now, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak online with our customer, or our guest today in Indonesia. We were founded in May 1987. And our current staff is about 288. So we're a pretty large company here. We have, actually, this number is a little bit old. We're over our 130,000 number of users for our civil engineering software. And most of our users are construction consultants. They are located also within the public sector, working for government organizations or in automobile universities and research institutes. We have 11 offices located across the world here. You can see we have a number of offices located in Japan itself, but we also have world offices located in Vietnam and Myanmar as well. We do have Shanghai, Taiwan, and Qingdao offices, with partner offices in the UK, Korea, and Sydney, Australia. And we also have a wide expanding range of dealer networks as well. Forum8 is a highly awarded organization here within Japan. We've received various numbers of awards, which can all be seen on our website. One of these awards is the 8th Monozukuri Japan Awards from the Japanese government. And this is us and our president, Yuji Ito, receiving the reward in Tokyo. Some of our software is also based on hardware as well, with some of our drive simulators receiving accreditation for use in the Japanese National Police Agency to be used for driving schools across Japan, so that our simulators can be used to train students in a safe environment through various scenarios so that they can get the training that they need. We also have various other case studies and organizations that have been utilizing our snowplow simulator as well. And we've also been kind of developing various resilience designs and case studies to ensure that any national disasters that come to Japan are simulated within our software so that the customers can understand what is going on. We've received various rewards for this resilience progress within our software. And we also offer full training courses for our software through this ICT Master Training course as well. So if you're interested in learning more, we also offer either one-on-one demonstration, one-on-one training, or larger classes available for training to learn our software and become a master of the simulation software itself. Forum8 is also dedicated to the Sustainable Development Goals developed by the UN, utilizing our software to achieve these goals through the visualization and simulation process. For an example of this, we have our earthquake simulator to help build sustainable housing throughout the nation so that we can simulate the various earthquakes. Japan has quite a few number of earthquakes throughout the year. So being able to simulate these earthquakes and understanding how they can work and what kind of damage that they could potentially cause, and then balancing and ensuring that these buildings are built up to standards for these codes as well. As a CRM Best Practice Award, we've won the award for 6 consecutive years since 2020. And we've also received various other awards for our women in the workforce as well. Next, I'd like to introduce our Design Festival. Last year, we had the 14th Design Festival. The Design Festival is a kind of a celebration event. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what it is specifically, but it's kind of a celebration of event of inviting all the users that we have and how they've really utilized our platform software in their for their projects, and then showcasing those projects and awarding those projects that really go above and beyond. So, for example, on day one, we have our autonomous driving conference where we invite experts in autonomous driving and have a seminar and special lectures regarding the progress on autonomous vehicles and where they're going next, and then how FORUM8 is also supporting those drives. And then for the second half of day one, we have the 19th 3D VR simulation contest, which is what I just mentioned, where we invite the companies who have been utilizing our software in unique ways and then reward their progress and their excellence on their projects. An example of these, I'll talk a little bit more about this in the presentations later, but the Grand Prix award winner was a company that focused on a bridge repair simulator, and it's very interesting, so I really encourage you to stick around and find out more about that. Day two is focused on our student design awards, so if you are a student and interested in working with virtual design, we really encourage you to check this out. And again, I will talk more about this in my presentation later. Okay. We've also been recently working with our virtual platform system, which is our idea of creating a 3D environment for any kind of space, so that it has a digital twin where you can walk around and interact with to help bridge the gap that COVID-19 has really caused in recent years. We have our virtual showroom and our virtual office system that will also be introduced later. We've also been working on an infrastructure digital database system targeting our BIM customers to gather and collect one open source database to make sure that everyone is on the right page and everyone is meeting the same standards for their projects as well. Since this won't be too long of an introduction here, I'm just going to go ahead and skip here. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about this at the end, but let's go ahead and get towards our special lecture here. So let me get this here. Here we go. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. This is Professor Irwin here. He is a lecturer and architect. He is from the Department of Architectural Engineering, National Institute of Technology, and we're very excited to hear his presentation on the latest information on BIM utilization in Indonesia and the construction industry. So please, without further ado, if we can go ahead and introduce Professor Irwin. Oh, I apologize. I'm also going to be supported by Fujicon staff, Mr. TS, or Mrs. TS will also be helping me with the moderation of this seminar today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. William Nelson. Setelah ini kita akan mendengarkan pemaparan dari Profesor Erwin Yuniara Hadian, dosen dari Institut Teknologi Nasional Bandung, Indonesia, yang akan menyampaikan pemaparannya terkait dengan BIM. Waktu dan tempat dipersilahkan, silakan Pak Erwin mungkin dapat menyampaikan.
Oke, terima kasih. Mungkin saya minta share screen-nya. Baik. Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Selamat siang, Bapak dan Ibu, saudara-saudara sekalian. Semoga kita selalu dalam keadaan sehat walafiat dalam lindungannya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Erwin Yuniara Hadian. Saat ini saya berprofesi sebagai dosen di program studi arsitektur Institut Teknologi Nasional Bandung. Sebelum memulai, saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Mr. K, kemudian Yoko Yamasan, Mr. William, dan Miss Kyotani dari FORUM8, lalu Bapak Andi dari Fujicon Indonesia, ya, serta seluruh pihak yang mendukung terselenggaranya seminar online ini. yang telah memberikan kepada saya kesempatan untuk menyampaikan materi dengan judul Informasi Terkini Penerapan Building Information pada Industri Konstruksi di Indonesia. Semoga materi ini akan menambah wawasan dan motivasi bagi kita semua untuk terus dapat menggunakan dan mengembangkan metode BIM ini untuk kemajuan industri konstruksi di Indonesia. Baik, sebelum mulai, ini biodata saya. Nama saya Erwin Junior Rahadian, Sarjana Teknik dan Magister Teknik. Pendidikan Sarjana Teknik saya selesaikan di Institut Teknologi Nasional Bandung tahun 1997. Kemudian mengambil Magister Arsitektur di Institut Teknologi Bandung tahun 2008. Sedikit pengalaman yang bisa saya share di sini. Saya mulai bertugas sebagai dosen mulai tahun 2002 sampai dengan sekarang. Lalu selepas lulus sarjana teknik, langsung berkecimpung juga di bidang profesional sebagai arsitek sampai saat ini. Ya. Agenda yang akan saya sampaikan atau akan saya paparkan, perkenalan barangkali tadi sudah disampaikan, lalu pengantar tentang BIM, kemudian sejarah perkembangan BIM, kemudian langkah strategis penerapan BIM di Indonesia. Ya, di situ ada peran pemerintah, peran dari masyarakat industri konstruksi, peran institusi pendidikan, kemudian terkait dengan pencapaian pekerjaan-pekerjaan berbasis BIM di Indonesia. Ya, di sini terkait dengan kalau di kementerian itu ada yang berkecimpung di bidang cipta karya, bina marga, sumber daya air. Kemudian adanya dukungan vendor dari perangkat digital. Baik, ini sekilas mengenai Institut Teknologi Nasional di mana saya bertugas, ya, berdiri sejak tahun 1972. Saat ini terdiri dari 3 fakultas, ya, Fakultas Teknologi Industri, yang terdiri dari program studi teknik elektro, teknik mesin, teknik industri, teknik kimia, teknik informatika, dan sistem informatika. Kemudian ada Fakultas Teknik Sipil dan Perencanaan yang terdiri dari program studi teknik sipil, teknik geodesi, perencanaan wilayah dan kota, kemudian program studi teknik lingkungan. Kemudian Fakultas Arsitektur dan Desain yang terdiri dari program studi arsitektur, di mana ini menjadi tempat saya berkarya begitu. Kemudian program studi desain interior, program studi desain produk, dan program studi desain komunikasi visual. Lalu di ITENAS juga kami membuka program studi magister, diantaranya magister teknik mesin, teknik industri, dan magister teknik sipil. Baik, itu sekilas perkenalan mengenai saya dan institusi di mana saya menaung. Oke, BIM, ini gambar ini saya ambil dari www.bimcommunity.com. Barangkali ini sudah cukup banyak, ya, rekan-rekan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian sudah mendengar apa itu BIM. Ini kebetulan juga gambarnya, kalau saya lihat ini adalah gambar semacam instalasi utilitas, ya, pada sebuah gedung. Jadi kalau kita bicara dari terminologinya, menurut Eastman di sini, bahwa BIM ini adalah sebagai pendekatan baru, ya, yang mewakili proses pengembangan secara digital, ya, atau proses pembangunan secara digital. Di sini BIM digunakan untuk memfasilitasi pertukaran dan interoperabilitas informasi dalam format digital. Jadi di sini yang dimaksud adalah bahwa dalam sebuah proyek itu tentu ada informasi yang dipertukarkan, ya. Informasi yang dipertukarkan ini menjadi sangat penting terhadap keberhasilan suatu proyek, gitu. Kalau kita bicara pihak-pihak yang terlibat di sana, tentu banyak sekali informasi yang saling ditukarkan, gitu, ya. Misalnya antara disiplin ilmu arsitektur, disiplin ilmu sipil, disiplin ilmu mechanical, electrical, dan plumbing. Sehingga pada zaman sebelum kita menggunakan teknologi digital, ya, kita masih menggunakan paper base atau menggunakan kertas. Di sana nampak ada banyak sekali kesulitan-kesulitan ketika kita harus melakukan pengecekan, melakukan koordinasi gambar, melakukan menelusuri misalnya di mana terjadi kesalahan gambar, gitu ya. Nah, karena data-data tersebut masih bersifat manual atau masih bersifat ya belum secara mudah bisa dipertukarkan, ya, dan diinteroperability-kan atau di bagaimana data itu bisa kita pertukarkan, informasinya bisa dimanfaatkan oleh pihak lain, gitu. Nah, kemunculan teknologi digital ini pada awalnya baru sebatas membantu para desainer untuk memudahkan proses barangkali penggambarannya saja, baru sampai di situ. Namun seiring perkembangan waktu, ternyata tidak hanya gambar saja yang perlu perlu dikoordinasikan, ya, banyak informasi lain di luar gambar yang memang perlu dikoordinasikan dan dipertukarkan demi tercapainya keberhasilan sebuah proyek. Jadi barangkali itu yang menjadi awalnya. Jadi bahwa BIM ini adalah dia mewakili proses pengembangan secara digital